What's up, YouTube? This is Buckshot33, aka Boston Chris, here with my weekend haul video. Before I get into the books I picked up this weekend, I wanted to go ahead and just give an update. I have my gloves on too, so. But I wanted to give an update about the situation with my last unboxing. So, I picked up a book off of eBay for a very low price. And, I contacted the seller. I let them know what happened. Because the price was so low, I mean, it basically was about $4.50. So, including shipping, $4.50 altogether. I offered to send the book back, so I was like, I can send it back, no problem. And you just refund me my money. Seller was really cool. Just, let me know, because it's such a small price and everything like that. Just keep the book. I'll refund you your money. Don't worry about it. So, that's awesome. It's my first time having any sort of, issue with a book that came through eBay. I've never had to send anything back. I've never had any sort of trouble. Usually everything comes in the condition I expect it to come in. So, this is the first time something kind of went on its own, and just wasn't, basically the way it was supposed to be. So that's really cool, and I'm glad that that was able to be taken care of. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and move on to my new stuff that I got this weekend. And so we have, first and foremost, Green Lanterns, number 15. This is the start of a new story arc. And this one looks like it's a pretty big crossover book. You have basically the Justice League and the Lanterns, on the cover. So we'll see what happens. The one thing I do like that they do with Rebirth is that they stick with everything. I guess the overall plan, and this is my opinion, I don't know if this is any sort of truth behind it, but it seems like the overall plan is to put out the books and have all the continuity run the same, so that when a new story arc starts out in one book, it's basically a new story arc in all the books, so that when you have a big crossover, like and I haven't read this yet, so if the JLA is in this book and you have a crossover, it's not like you pick up JLA and it's 3 months after what happened here, or I guess everything's going to stay in the same continuity. So that's good, because it gets kind of tough when you have a book that a team up or whatever it is, where book A is set in January, but then book B is goes all the way back to October, and it's just like, well, like, these events already happened, and you get all that confusion. It doesn't usually happen all that often, but I think that's a good model that they're doing. I think it's a good way to keep everything together. I remember reading X-Men books as a kid, and if you went from Uncanny X-Men to, let's say, X Factor, totally different. I mean, they could be discussing things that happened months past, or things that just are completely unrelated. I realize it's two different books, but it's still set within the same universe, so I feel like things should kind of at least exist on the same plane in that way. But anyway, moving on. We got Batman number 15, and this is a new storyline called Rooftops. I think it's more of a introduction into the relationship that Batman has with Catwoman, and maybe this is before she became psychotic. I don't fully know, but I'm definitely going to read it and check it out. Continuing on, we have He-Man Thundercats number 4. This has been a really cool nostalgia book. I like the way that they are doing this. If I had to choose two people, I would not have thought to combine these two together. I think that, basically their mythos is so different, but I guess, very similar. So I'm definitely anxious to get into this one, because I kind of hope that Lion-O and He-Man end up having a big battle in this book. Because I mean, you look at it. I mean, the cover sells this. Like, this is really cool. If they're gonna fight, this looks awesome. So can't wait to see that. Next up, we have Kill or Be Killed, number 5, and this is actually a really good series. I'm a big fan of this book, for the main fact that it's a bigger book, like it's a thicker book, and it's well written, and really it's kind of a, I guess you could say, just a fun read to look at. I like how it's not really so much a superhero story, more of a crime story. The art in it, and I'll just show I don't want to show anything too crazy, but the art in the book is really, like, it's very realistic. I like that. I think for a crime story, You know, I mean, you look at this cover right here. I mean, look at this picture. Oh, get the glare. So you look at that right there. It's a really actual, naturalistically drawn person, and you know, as you're going through it, you know, you can see that there's, you know, you can see how it relates to the crime, how like everything is really just kind of, you know, set in this world. There's nothing too otherworldly. There's nothing too, you know, outside of normal life within this book. So other than the fact that, you know, this guy's, you know, committing crazy crimes all over the place, it looks really good. So, you know, definitely one to check out if you haven't. I think with this issue, I think that they're putting out a, if they haven't done it already, I think they might have put out a trade that I think has the first 5 issues in it. So if you missed it and can't find it, check it out, because it's going to be right inside there. The next is the book that I forgot to pick up last week, and this is Inhumans X-Men #2. And unfortunately, see, I had the Terry Dodson cover before, and I went back to my shop. No more Terry Dodsons, but they had this variant, so I picked it up. You know, I read the first one. I liked the way it went. You know, this has potential to be a pretty good story. You know, I don't think I'm going to collect all the offshoots and everything like that. So I'm just sticking with the main story for this one. I think that what will happen is, you know, the main story will be able to tell you everything you need to know. All the tie-ins, I think, are going to end up, you know, not really further in the story, but it's just like, you know, you get the tie-in. Okay, cool. Next up, we have Amazing Spider-Man #23. And, you know, love these covers, these Alex Ross covers, really, really cool. You know, this is a series that actually ended up being a little better than I thought it was going to be. And it's really, you know, nice art in here. Like, you know, really, really nice stuff. And, you know, definitely a book that, you know, I think is, you know, found its way again. I think that it's not something that's, you know, gone so far off the cuff that you can't really, like, you know, enjoy it. And the stories have been pretty good for the last, you know, basically the last few months. So, and then, you know, like I said, you can't go wrong with these covers. These are really, really nice covers. So, but the story is really good as well. So, you know, that's one thing I'm trying to not do so much, even though I'm about to become a total hypocrite on that point right now. But I'm trying to kind of get books, not based on the cover artist, not just to say, oh, like, this cover's great. Just because in the end, you know, a good cover is, you know, an awesome thing, but you also want to be able to enjoy the book, and that I think is number one. Is just, is it a good book? Is it done well? Is it you know, something that is, you know, worth picking up, other than the cover? Now, with that, I'm not immune to buying some covers, because I do love, you know, certain artists, and you know, I like to have those type of covers. Luckily for me, you know, I guess I'm not a huge fan of J. Scott Campbell. I love what he does. I love his work. I'm not going to say I don't. But his price is very high for some of those variants. So unless there's something where you're able to get it for, you know, just a regular cover, a regular price, or maybe, you know, let's say $10, $15, that's fine. These $70 and $80 covers that he does, not worth it to me. I don't know. Other people can buy them all day. Go right ahead. I wouldn't, just because they're too expensive for me. But picked up a few from a guy I do like. I love his style. I think he's just a really, really fun way of doing covers, and that is my boy Scotty Young. So here is the new Hulk #1 variant cover with She-Hulk as, you know, the Hulk now. Next up, have another, got Ghost Rider #1. And honestly, I don't even know anything about Robbie Reyes. I've never read anything anything he's been a part of. But I do love this cover. I think this is a really, really nice Scotty Young cover. And last but not least for these new covers, is a book that is on #1 right now. I thought that this is a really funny cover, and I liked the way this series looks. It's definitely funny from the get-go. So, you know, something I hope that will continue to be good and, you know, stay on point and be really cool. And that is Curse Words #1. And this is a Scotty Young cover. See, like this, kind of like, you know, I guess you can, kind of like in the style that Calvin and Hobbes, where, you know, was always the one with him pissing on stuff. Like, the earliest one I remember of those is the Red Sox So they had him just pissing on different logos. So, there's the one in Boston that's popular is him peeing on the Yankees. So it's just like, this reminds me just of that, because it's the exact pose and everything, minus the little koala bear in the back. But really, really cool. Definitely a fun book. I read it on a preview before picking it up, so it was funny and I enjoyed it. So I think I'm gonna probably stick with it for a little while and see what happens. Next, I went and got a couple of back issues, and I'm actually hoping this is one that I got for really cheap, and I'm hoping to get another book of this. I'm trying to keep up with this collection here. This is the Marvel Official Guide to the Marvel Universe. This is number 18. This is the Book of the Dead, Deluxe Edition, and I think there's 2 books of the Dead within this. And I definitely want to pick this up just because it's funny to see who's specifically dead in this and who's not. Like, you look at the cover. So you have Hyperion. This is basically, so all of the Squadron Supreme. Let's see, Starhawk. He's not a Sergeant Supreme, but Hyperion, Starhawk. I forget what his name is. And then I don't know who these guys are. I'm not gonna pretend like I do. I don't know who he is or her or this guy at all. But then on the back, you look at it, and there's a bunch more people. I hope you can see that. I don't know if I was holding a bad angle, but I see MODOK on there. I see, it looks like Quasar maybe, and Vindicator, and then of course Mimic right there. It's so weird. It's just like, so when did MODOK die and stay dead? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that happened definitely in a book that I never collected. But I just look at it, which is just like, I didn't even know MODOK had died. I mean, who knows about MODOK? But anyway, definitely cool. I can't wait to open this up and check it out. Then I got another book, which is pretty cool. And it's funny because I always thought that there was a different number 1 for this. And it ended up being like the second series of it. But I was able to pick up Man-Thing number 1. And let's see, I don't know if you can tell from here. Well, you probably can't tell, but if you look down the middle and put it up closer, there's a little crease right there, subscription crease. So, definitely a book that somebody had gotten in a subscription way back in the day, but really cool to have. I think Man-Thing's a pretty cool character. The other number 1 is the red cover, and I always thought that was his first issue. So, but this actually is his first first actual of his own book, and then Adventure into Fear, number 10 is another early appearance of him. I think it's his first solo story is Adventure into Fear, but definitely another cool one to have. And then next we have here, this is probably like the best book I bought so far, and you can actually see it right now. Boom! Amazing Spider-Man number 238, the first appearance of the Hobgoblin, and this has the tattoos still inside, so that's really cool. I'm happy to be able to say I own this. It's a book I've always wanted, but I've never actually been able to get. So really, really cool. Very happy and excited to have this book. What else can I say? I mean, I look online all the time for this one. I picked this up at a local shop, so I show that right now. So, name of the shop is Kamikaze. And if anybody follows me on Instagram, so my Instagram name is BostonChris82. And on there, I took some pictures of what's in their display case, and they have some pretty major books in that display case. And I always just, check them out and like to, go and see like what, good books they have in back issues and stuff like that. And just so happened that they had a couple of these come in, so I went, and it was about 2 weeks ago, checked them out and saw it, and I was like, oh man, and so I, wanted to go ahead and grab it, but didn't have the time or the money at the point in time. And then this week I pulled the trigger and I got it, so happy to have. That's one of the books I would say is, oh man, if I was to make a top, because it's not one of my absolute top 10s that I need, that I'd like to own lifetime, but I would say it's definitely in my top 20 that I'd like to own, just because I've seen this cover since I was a kid and just always loved it. So You know, really happy to have that first appearance of Hobgoblin, and you know, another great book to add to my collection. So that's been my haul. I hope everybody's had a great weekend. I want to thank everybody for all the support when it came to that little issue with eBay. You know, it was really awesome to have you guys, you know, supporting me and, you know, giving me advice on what to do. So thank you guys all for that. I hope everybody has themselves a great weekend. If you're watching football, you know who I'm already rooting for, I'm not going to lie. Pats fan, I'm from Boston, that's just the way it is. So, I want to wish everybody luck who has, you know, who's a fan. If you have a team that's actually playing this week, you know, good luck to you. Even if you are a Steelers fan, I guess. But that's more of a sarcastic good luck, I guess. I don't know. I'm a pretty diehard Patriots fan, so I want to see them win. That's just me. But yeah, you know, hopefully everybody has a great weekend. Hopefully if your team is in the game, maybe hopefully they win for you, unless they're Steelers. Anybody who's not playing the Patriots can win today. I don't care. You know, everybody has themselves a good time. Everybody, I hope you have a good week coming up. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Buckshot33, a.k.a. Boston Chris. I'm out. Happy collecting.